Hello, everybody. My name's Emma Duncan, and I'm the current president of the ASBMR. Today, I'm talking to the head of the Publications Committee, Lary. Christine, welcome.
Thank you. Really happy to be here. Thank you, Emma.
So, I think many of us in ASBMR know about the ASBMR publications, but what is the role of the committee itself, and what publications do we manage as the ASBMR?
Sure, we have three main publications. We have JBMR, we have JBMR Plus, and we have the Primer. The Primer is relatively, I think it's every 5 years that gets redone. So that's a little bit less often, but JBMR and JBMR Plus are kind of an ongoing process. And both of those editors meet with our committee regularly, and we make sure to support them and in their jobs and making sure they're effective.
I know that the committee has done a lot in terms of policy and has been thinking about AI and have been thinking about ethics. So I think I mean, we might think it's sort of all straightforward, but you have to grapple with a whole lot of issues with publication and dealing with our publisher. And we've got a new publications director at Smith Buckland as well.
Yes. So Matt Buckland, who's the new publications director at Smith Buckline, he just started, I think, in January of this year, and he's been fantastic. I really enjoyed getting to know him and working with him. And yes, we're part of the Gen AI task force, which is being led by King Wu. That just started, and I'm a member of that task force as chair of the publications committee. And that's been a really fun task force to be on. There are people representing all parts of ASBMR. But publications is certainly a big part of that effort. There's a lot of thinking about AI content, thinking about people that may be submitting AI content in their journals. Also thinking about just the reviewing process and making sure
Yeah.
that the confidentiality is maintained. So we have been doing a lot of back and forth between the Gen AI Task Force and the Publications Committee, where there's like a kind of policies that are developed in the task force, but then we carefully review those policies in the Publications Committee. Our
Yeah.
committee has a lot of experience between our editors in chief and our committee members in terms of publications and current policies and just trying to think about what are our values and our goals and what,
Yeah.
trying to get this instilled in policy.
Yeah.
It's been a really fun experience kind of debating over what all we think in terms of AI and its role and what are the kind of the guardrails we want to put in place. So it's been an active source of debate on our committee.
I think so. I think not just for ASBMR, but for all of us in academia.
Yep.
So I think that's going
Yeah.
to be something that the society will really value from the in-depth discussion and consideration that both you, as the Publications Committee, and the AI Task Force, as you start to come to terms with what we feel is the best way forward. And how did
Right.
you end up coming to volunteer for this role?
I was previously part of the publications committee, and I enjoyed participating in that. And the prior committee chief, Shira Acker-Bennell, encouraged me to apply, and so I did apply, and I got the role. And so it's been I've really enjoyed it. It's been really exciting. It's been a learning curve for sure. So I just started last September, and it's been a lot to learn, but
Yeah.
it's been really, really fun. Our committee is fantastic. Our two editors in chief are fantastic. Everyone's been really helpful in helping me to get up to speed and sharing their interest and knowledge. So yeah, it's been really, really nice. A nice way to get to know our society in a little bit more detail.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. And have you found that your experience, both when you were previously volunteering as a member of the committee and now as the chairperson, have you found that that's been useful in your day job?
That's an interesting thought. I think it has. I mean, I think in general, just getting leadership experience, I think I'm able to kind of bring that back to my day job. One of the things, the other big activity that we're doing right now is we have a search for the next editor-in-chief of JBMR Plus. So Deb Weiss, who's been doing a fantastic role, her term is ending, and we're going to be putting a new one in place in September. And so I'm chair of that search committee, and it's a little bit intimidating because it's a very senior experienced group, but we have to bring that committee together and look at candidates and bring people in for interviews. So those are all, anyhow, getting the opportunity to lead really important initiatives. That's fantastic for career development for anyone. So I'm really I'm glad to have that opportunity. And I'm so grateful to the kind of the senior people on the committee and also on the search committee that are just sharing their experience about publications with me,
Yeah.
because I'm learning a lot. I'm glad I get to learn it,
Yeah.
before those individuals retire, or that kind of
Yeah.
thing. So
I think it's absolutely true. And I think it's one of the nice things about our society that we have got people who view their role as a volunteer is partly to bring their experience and partly it's to help mentor people who are, newer in their leadership roles as
exactly,
well. Yeah.
exactly. Yep,
Yeah.
yep, yep,
And
yep.
what about outside of work? What apart from your volunteer activities with ASBMR and your day job, and I should probably ask you what your day job is, and then I should ask you
Uh-huh.
what do you like doing outside of your day job?
Yeah, sure. I guess maybe I'll answer both of those in turn.
Yeah.
So my discipline is I'm a biostatistician and a bioinformatician, and
Right.
so yeah, and I've worked with both you and I share membership in the GFOS committee, which
Yep.
is the
Yeah.
international committee of people that are focused on genetics and omic data in musculoskeletal studies. So yeah, and I'm actually a relatively recent member of ASBMR. I just joined in 2019. I mean, that's not super new, but a lot of people that have
Yeah.
been in ASBMR have spent their careers. I kind
Yeah.
of came over mid-career when I started to really focus on genetics of musculoskeletal studies. So
Yeah.
that's kind of been my time in ASBMR. And so what I'm working on, one of my current projects is I'm working with Sandeep Khosla on, he and others have a large randomized trial of beta blockers to prevent osteoporosis. And we're getting ready, that trial's actually ended, and we're getting ready to hopefully present results yeah, we're all
At the annual meeting, music to
at
my
the annual
ears.
meeting. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So it's being unblinded. And so I'm actually not part of the trial, but I have an ancillary study. So my study has, and this is in collaboration with Katie Modal and Maine Health. We've collected a lot of omic data and also cellular data that we derive from participant blood to try to understand mechanisms of treatment response. So
Mm.
it's been a really nice study. I've gotten to work with Sandeep Khosla and the Mayo team,
Mm.
also Dave Monroe, and then other people at the Columbia University Medical Center is another site, and then at Maine Health is the third site.
Yeah.
So anyhow, that's one of my projects. I'm looking at the combination, or the association between bone health and brain health, which is it's a
Right.
newer research area of mine. But in general, I do epidemiological studies, a lot of work with like genetics and
Yeah.
bioinformatics.
Well, and I
So
think, as a clinician scientist, that's my sweet spot as well. So I'm delighted to hear it. And I was
yeah,
also, my ears pricked up about bone and brain as well. And this is definitely going to be something that's going to be very apparent at our forthcoming annual scientific meeting. In fact, our opening speaker, our Jared Auerbach lecturer, Steve McCarroll, is going to be talking about this space, shall we say. So
fantastic. Okay.
I could leave that one as a sweet spot for people
Okay.
to as a tantalizing thing for our listeners. So the last thing then
Fantastic.
is to ask, what do you like doing outside of work?
Right. So outside of work, I think the hobby that I want to highlight is I like to ride my bike, and like I have a road bike and I do kind of long distance rides. And my most recently I did a trip with my husband in Ireland. So it's called the
Wow.
Wild Atlantic Way. So we did the western coast of Ireland all the way from the southern tip to the northern tip is over 550 miles. I mean, it took us
Wow.
almost 2 weeks, but
Yeah.
um but it was
Only 2 weeks. Only 2 weeks.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a lot, and it's certainly. I mean, it's about 50 miles a day, so
Yeah.
it's a lot of bike riding. It was a beautiful way to see the coast of Ireland. And this summer we're going to do something called. We live in Maine, and just north of Portland, Maine, and we're going to do something called the Trek Across Maine, which is it's a fundraiser for the American Lung Association, but it's about. I think it's 180 miles across 3 days. So we like
Yeah.
to do these long distance cycling trips where it's a great way to
Oh.
get exercise, but also see really beautiful, beautiful places. So it's
And
a
I
lot of
think
fun.
the pace when you cycle, you see a place differently to when
You
you're just
do.
sitting in a vehicle and
Yeah.
being and driven. My question to
Yeah.
you is, Ireland is a beautiful color green for a reason, and that is because it rains a lot. So
Oh my
in your
goodness.
in your 2 weeks, how many days did it rain?
Yeah, I think every single one.
Yes.
I don't think we went. I just don't think I mean, some rain, like it was really just the degree. We had and we cycled almost every day. We had like one rest
Yeah.
day. But there were some days where it was just, all out rain the entire time. We had all of our rain gear. I mean, this was like late May, early June. The average temperature was still in the 50s, and that's Fahrenheit. I apologize for being an
Yeah.
American.
Yeah.
It was not warm,
No,
but
it's,
our second week was a little bit drier than our first week, so we did see, spots of sunshine. But
yeah.
yeah, we did appreciate the Emerald Isle, and yes, we were told to bring our rain gear, and we did, and we used it. So,
Well, it sounds a wonderful trip, although
mhm,
very wet. No, thank you
yes,
very much for taking the time to talk with me today, Christine. It's been lovely.
sure. Okay, well, thank you so much.